we can't wait to get to Richmond next week, the final stop in the race to the chase for the Nextel Cup. But less than 50 laps to go now at the California Speedway in Fontana, with Casey Kane continuing to lead. What will happen? Everybody has to make at least one more stop if we stay green. Let's take you through the field. We'll start with the leader, the 9 car, Yoakum. Go.
Bill, we're closing in on the last round of scheduled pit stops. The 9 car should pit in about 15 laps. He needs to be more free for this final run to the finish. Mark Martin has climbed back up to the 2nd position. Pat Trison says his car still free even after backing up that adjustment on the 6 car. Meanwhile, the 38 Elliott Sadler having his best career run here on this 2-mile Fontana racetrack. The car, though, still too tight in the center of the corner and way too tight on exit. Meanwhile, the 99 Carl Edwards, an awesome night. The car is getting a little snug. He also noted the sunset in the last caution. How nice. It looks so nice here in Southern California, Bill.
It sure does, Matt. As for the 24 car, Jeff Gordon, Jeff said on lap 202 that the car was a little loose getting into the turns. They're closing in on their pit stop. Behind him is teammate Jimmy Johnson. That car is starting to move forward just a little bit. Has not been a great night for Johnson, but his crew chief Chad Knaus told him a handful of laps ago, we can get there. Stay with it, buddy. Go. Dave?
12 car took on 2 fresh tires last time, but now the car feels as bad as Ryan. It's way too loose, Ryan radioed in, and he's lost from 3rd back to 7th position. Marty?
Dave, Robbie Gordon's been running that high line, and that's for good reason, because the car has gotten too tight. His quote to the team, how much longer are you going to make me hold on to it? Answer, only about 5 laps. Matt Kenseth, the great rally, car is still a little bit loose. Lap 225, he will have to pit. 24 coming down pit road to Bill.
Could be engine on the 24. The championship leader, Jeff Gordon, talking to his crew chief. I felt something go. I've got a rumble. I think it's the engine on the pit road. We'll see if that or if it's a tire, but he's on the pit road now.
I thought when he came by the last lap, Bill, it sounded kind of funny.
They're not looking under the hood, so maybe it is just tires. But he had a funny smell, he said. Thought he heard like a pop or a clunk. It's just 4 tires, and he goes back out on his way. We'll see what happens.
Yep. All right, so Jeff starting.
There's a lot of smoke.
Yep.
We got some smoke.
Blowing up on the fuel, all you can do that,
Yeah, it's expiring.
Well, remember, at the very beginning of the broadcast, we talked to Jeff on Discover Card Countdown to Green. He is locked in the race to the chase. Nothing left for him to do this week and next week at Richmond, but go for the win.
He was going for the win.
Yep.
He's going to have to go back to the garage here in a minute.
Great rally from the damage earlier that knocked in the right front corner of the car. Jeff Gordon all the way up into the top 5, and then within sight of the checkered flag. It's going to...
I don't think Jeff will stay out there very long with it running like that.
I don't think NASCAR will allow him to stay out there too long.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, he's being black flagged.
Yeah. Come in this time, buddy. You have to come in this time. Look at it. Look at the hood, see what we got going on, guys.
All right. So trouble's there for Jeff Gordon with 41 laps to go.
Any second now. Any second now. Should be grenaded.
Any second now, it's going to grenade. It's just going to blow up.
Just something to think about, you guys. Still 40 laps to go. Gordon was the championship leader. Obviously, he didn't have that big a lead over 2nd place, just 24 points, but it could bring that 400-point mark a little closer as we go to Richmond.
Well, you know, it depends what happens with Jimmy Johnson, Bill. I was thinking about that, but they pretty much need both Gordon and Johnson to have some troubles to bring the 400 in the way it's looking.
Right, and even if Earnhardt would have trouble, that would help too, but he's not even running up in the top 10 or the top 15 last time I looked.
Yeah. If you're new to NASCAR, the top 10 drivers will compete for the championship, plus any others within 400 points of the leader at the end of race 26, Richmond, next Saturday night.
And I tell you what, the battle that these guys have had in the top 15, they all deserve to be in the race for the Nextel Cup. But
So Gordon's on pit road with the hood up. Meanwhile, Casey Kane's advantage over Mark Martin is
diminished.
Shrinking.
it is diminished down to a second and a quarter.
Well, you'll be able to see him here in a second. That's how close it is.
And we're coming up on those final pit stops. So
there's Mark right there.
The pressure's going to be on. We talked about pressure before. Two guys trying to get into that top 10, both starting just outside of it, entering this race. Chance to win the race, get maximum points. They've got to make a final pit stop, maybe under the green, and get to pit road on a very tricky pit lane. And we talked about it yesterday in the NASCAR Busch Series. In the race here in May, two of the guys stalled the engine, trying to get off pit road on a gas and go. Marty.
BP, they left the 31 car out for as long as they could, gave them a tearaway. They're pitting earlier than everyone else. That's an advantage. They're also going to take 4 tires. That may be an advantage as well for Robbie Gordon and the fuel that he needs to make it to the end of this race, running an 8th when he came to pit road.
Good pit stop. Great pit stop.
Pushing Jeff Gordon's car back to the garage area.
And the 31 coming down pit road, so be careful, boys.
And then another thing you got to be careful of if you're not going to take 4 tires when you're coming down a pit lane is not locking up your tires getting to the entrance of the pits.
Because you put a flat spot in that tire and you're going to have to change it.
37 laps to go. I'm expecting we're going to see a lot of these final pit stops for most of the front runners, somewhere around 25 to go.
And as soon as one of these guys stop, then all the rest of them have got to stop because they just can't give up that speed that you get on new tires.
Here he comes, Mark Martin closing in.
Well, I think there's a guy that's going to take, well, I don't know. He's going to take it long enough to put fuel in, take right sides. Depending on how far he can go, take fuel only because that car is fast.
Mark's going to get him before the pit stops, I think.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, but I mean, why change tires when you're running that quick?
Well,
unless you're going to be in the pits long enough to where you have to wait for fuel.
And one reason to change 4 tires, if the caution flag comes out with the 10 laps to go, you can stay on the racetrack because you have better tire. Matt, what about it? What are they saying on the 6 and 9 cars?
BP, we are about 8, maybe 9 laps from both cars pitting. In fact, Pat Tryson told Mark Martin, if you see the 9 hit pit road, come with him. We're going to try to stay with the 9.
And what these two guys do is really going to force what other guys are going to do, too. They take 4, certainly guys are going to take 2 tires behind them.
Go ahead, Marty.
It's just been a miserable night for the 18 bunch of Bobby Labonte's Allen. No speed, he was saying on that last stop. I don't know what to tell you guys to do. It's both loose and tight. They did change 4 tires and made an air pressure adjustment, trying to get him a little bit better.
And for the lead, Mark Martin on Casey Kane. Now here's what?
I was going to say here's where Mark scoots. But he didn't have the, well, he didn't have the racetrack. But right through the center is where Mark is quick. Right here, Mark should take a little bit of advantage, but the 9 car's got that outside. He's got a run going. Will Mark slide up? Yep, Mark's got enough.
New leader Mark Martin came from 13th on the restart, and he's taken over the top spot with 34 laps to go. There's Mark's progress toward the front.
34 laps, he was able to do that. And we showed it, he was 12th in the current point standings when we showed that just a moment ago. I bet he's not 12th anymore.
I bet you he's in.
The race to the chase update. First of all, Jimmy Johnson will go by Jeff Gordon.
And let's see how many cars are within 400 points. Kurt Busch is within 400.
Martin's in, Kane's in, Newman's in.
Casey Kane now then. Who's out? Harvick, McMurray, Mayfield.
Boy, Labonte down to 15th there in that graphic.
Go ahead, Marty.
One man who mostly locked his way into the chase for the championship tonight, Matt Kenseth. He's running 7th. His car a little too loose. Pound in the right front tire, trying to tighten it up. Nice stop for the 17 bunch.
Pretty good, 14 flat.
Was a good stop.
And Kenseth rejoins. Sterling Marlin is in. And still watching the leaders to see when they'll make their critical final stops onto the pit lane. Jeff Gordon's back in the garage, and Dave Burns is with him.
And Jeff just climbed out of the car, talked to Randy Dorton and Scott Maxim in the engine department there. Jeff, how hard were you guys pushing it tonight, maybe testing for the chase?
No, we weren't. You know, I mean, this is definitely an issue we're going to have to deal with and get figured out. Good thing is, our toughest tracks are these 2-mile racetracks like this. We've had our problems here, and we're certainly going to have to figure it out. But most of the tracks that we run, we shouldn't have this issue. But I mean, we didn't turn a lot of RPM. We had a rev limiter in there, you know, making sure we didn't do that. I don't think it's a valve train thing. I smelled something, and they think it might be somewhere in a piston or something. But great job on this DuPont Chevrolet team, man. Great pit stops and getting the car from the back to the front. You know, I ran over something when Biffle spun, and real proud of these guys' effort. I didn't have anything for 9 or 6, but we still had a solid effort.
They made a good recovery. They're going to make another recovery before this chase starts, guys.
All right, you see the cautions out. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has spun in turn 4, and he's got some damage to the left front and the right rear.
You heard him say it blew a tire out going down the back stretch. He thought.
That's in the corner there.
Got the rear there. And how do you get the left front damage? Does somebody clip him when he comes down the track? Oh, when he runs off onto the flat of the racetrack, right at that white line.
The apron, yeah. There's where he's...
Crinkle? Oh, into the grass.
The grass did that. All board with him.
Hands on the gas, trying to stay off the wall.
Yeah.
Boy, that's the scariest part for a driver, right there. When you're going down the racetrack and you've got other cars coming from your left. The last place you want to get hit, in the door.
So Junior, who had started near the front, let's see, where did he start? He started in 12th place, fell to the back. Car came around for him, started working his way back toward the front, then it went away on him and fell toward the back, and now it really has gone south here at the spin with 31 laps to go.
That was a tough break for those cars that just made their pit stops, because now they'll be a lap down. Robbie Gordon, for instance. Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, Kenseth got trapped. Sterling Marlin got trapped.
Bobby Labonte, who desperately needs a good run.
And here they come to pit road with 30 laps to go. Go ahead, Marty. You're up.
Jamie McMurray running 7th, a critical pit stop for this team, 14th in the championship. His car is too tight, half pound in the right rear tire, half pound out of all left side tires, and Wedge trying to loosen up. Matt.
And the 9 and the 6 trying to make this battle on the top of your screen. Mark Martin, they're going to put an air pressure adjustment back in the right rear. Chassis adjustment already completed on the 9. The 6 is down and away, and the 9 is out of the way. The 6 is going to beat the 9 off. Weber.
The 48 of Jimmy Johnson, crew chief Chacanow, told his guys, just remain calm, do what you normally do. Looks like they were slow on the right front. A track bar adjustment because he's tight from the center off. It cost him some time on the front.
Looks like Brian Vickers probably changed 2 tires to get out front.
He did, BP, right sides only for the driver who started on the pole, and he's back out with the lead. Dave, how about Ryan Newman?
They changed 4 tires. They also made a wedge adjustment. The car had gone real loose, but was also tight off 4. They changed the air pressure on all 4 tires to try to help that.
Check that, Cameron. Make sure Vickers got off pit road first.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, big
By
time.
a mile.
Let's see, where's everybody else? Let's see, 1, 2. There you go. Mark Martin, Elliott Sadler, Casey Kane. Rusty Wallace must have changed 2 tires as well.
Probably took 2.
And the rest of the cavalry charge to the scoring line at the end of pit road. So got us a little late lap shootout set up under the lights here at the California Speedway. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.